Buenos días a todos. Quiero darles la bienvenida y agradecerles por acompañarnos en este evento. Mi nombre es Alejandra Zapata y hago parte del equipo de Consejería Académica y Relaciones Internacionales de Ecolfuturo. Hoy nos acompaña Rebeca, quien es representante de King's College London. Nos estará brindando información en esta sesión acerca de la oferta académica que tienen disponible, cómo pueden iniciar su proceso de postulación, qué opciones de financiación hay y también nos estará hablando un poco del descuento que tienen con Colfuturo, el cual otorga un 20% sobre el valor de la matrícula para los beneficiarios de Colfuturos admitidos en programas de maestría y doctorado. A lo largo de la historia de Colfuturo hemos beneficiado a más de 79 personas con este beneficio, entonces esperamos que toda la información sea de gran utilidad para todos ustedes. Al final vamos a tener un espacio de preguntas y respuestas, entonces si a lo largo de la charla tienen alguna duda, pregunta, la pueden escribir en nuestro chat que al final Rebeca les va a dar respuesta. Y adicionalmente invitarlos a seguirnos en nuestras redes sociales, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, también en nuestro portal web colfuturo.org para estar pendientes de todo el cronograma y todos los eventos que tenemos durante el mes de noviembre. Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us, for your time, and now you can start.
Thank you very much indeed for the invitation. It's absolutely a pleasure to present the postgraduate research space at King's College London, and thank you very much for setting up such a beautifully organised presentation. So I'm Rebecca Oakey, and my role is as Dean for Doctoral Studies at King's College London, and I work with Dr. Nigel Eadie, who is the Director of Research Talent, and together we make a central focus for PGR at King's, and I'm going to describe that to you as we go through the presentation. So, I'm going to have to find another way of forwarding my, here we go, forward the slides. So today, this is the picture of across the river from one of our campuses looking into North London. So this partnership is with Colfuturo, and I wanted to just make sure that you were understood and had a good sight of what we have to offer at King's for our PGR students. So welcome to King's. We have quite a large number of postgraduate research students. At the moment, we have about 2,600. But at King's overall, including our undergraduates, we have over 11,000 international students, which come from 185 countries over all of our campuses. And we have 5 campuses in London, in different parts of London, which are close to the river. And I'll show you a map. Here, this is the let me find my laser pointer. So I can't have a laser pointer. Not to worry. So this is the river. We have 5 campuses, which include our biosciences, our biomedical sciences and nursing at St. Thomas's Hospital. At Denmark Hill, the psychiatry, psychology and neuroscience, as well as nursing at a campus that's the furthest away from the rest of the institution. We have an Arts and Humanities and Natural Sciences Centre and King's Business School, Law and Social Science and Public Policy right in the heart of London at the Strand. So whilst they're distributed across London, they're quite close in terms of their overall geographic locations. So why would you choose King's? So we offer world-leading education, research and service, and these are things which we value very highly and put together in what we think is a positive research culture. We play a proactive role in our research programs. We are very interconnected and we have a lot of interdisciplinarity. We are very keen on serving the needs and aspirations of the society and the wider world, and that's one of the important parts of our strategy as a university. And we want to develop our students as critical thinkers so that they can go ahead and influence their own work and their own future and their own disciplines. So if we have a quick look at King's, what is it all about? Well, it was established in 1829. It has a long history of teaching arts and sciences. It is currently a leading member of the Russell Group, which is a set of universities in the UK that are very research active and lead the research-led educational mission of our institution. We're one of the top 10 universities in the UK, and we have alumni all over the globe. It's a very international university. So our research is in place to innovate and inform. We have a strong research across the sciences, as I mentioned before, and also in health and in the humanities. We're very keen on collaborative research on large projects to deliver really important questions. And we have a very large international collaborative profile of research projects worldwide. We are committed, especially at the moment, to support the international response to COVID. And we have a number of groups who've been doing that both at the basic science and translational science, as well as diagnostic levels. So we want all students to develop as critical thinkers. It's really important to be able to, particularly in this very age of very large data, to be able to think about questions properly and to use really contemporary resources to answer those questions. So we're very focused on high quality disciplinary research as well as interdisciplinary collaborations. We aim to equip students with the skills to develop insights and solutions for very diverse challenges. And we offer cutting edge research facilities as well as libraries. So one of the questions that's really important is, if you're interested in some of the disciplines at King's, we want to know how to apply for a PhD at King's College London, because it's not always obvious. And you certainly can't search the website and click apply. You have to think a lot more about what your personal needs are, what you would like to achieve, what you would like to do, and how can you do that? What are the first steps? Because I think it's really complicated wherever you look in the world to make these choices. And I think they are personal. It's your degree. It is absolutely your degree, and you must choose the right one. So first of all, at King's, we have an institute within the institution called the Centre for Doctoral Studies. And I alluded to this on the first slide. So this is a centre where a team of professional service staff and two academics, the Dean, who's myself, and the Deputy Dean, Professor Peter Heather, work together to provide a central service for helping students to find the things they need to think about applying to King's, but also once they are students, to really use the very, very rich resources we have to support and deliver first-class postgraduate research training. The Centre for Doctoral Studies provides interactive workshops, one-to-one appointments for lots of things, and online courses and seminars. So it's a blended approach, including face-to-face and online resources. This isn't just about learning new things, not learning how to do something you can't do before, but it's also supporting the important process of becoming a researcher. The workshop themes that we offer at the moment include careers and employability. So you're not just doing a degree because it's there. You want to do a degree because it helps you to form your career and offers you up as a very employable individual at the end of it. We have workshops on communication and impact. So understanding how to deliver a message about your research and how impactful that can be in the right context. We have some doctoral essentials, what you need in your toolbox, what you need to acquire, what you need to deliver, so that you're not in any doubt about how to do your PhD. IT essentials, particularly as data grows in size. Big data is everywhere. It's not just in science, it's in every discipline. And we need to know how to handle those data. Personal effectiveness, how can you be the best that you can be? Resilience and well-being, but we don't want any students finding it difficult to cope. Data management, again, going back to the IT essentials, we really need to be able to manage data in a safe and appropriate way, including where there are issues around ethics and privacy. And writing and publishing. If you're going to find something new, you want to make sure the world knows about it. So first of all, you need to identify your general area of interest. Are you a scientist? And if you're a scientist, are you interested in science, technology, engineering, and maths, the pure sciences? Are you going to be an engineer, a computer science, a chemist, for example? Or are you interested in health? Are you interested in research that leads to translational discoveries in health, such as medicine, nursing, midwifery, psychology, pharmacy, dentistry, and all the other allied health professionals? Or perhaps your area is politics, economics, and society. So we will be looking at international relations, development, politics, economics, conflict and security, society and policy, and geography and the environment. Or maybe you're more vocational and you're interested in law or management or finance. Or perhaps your background is really in the arts, culture, and media, in film studies, in history, classics, languages, philosophy. Knowing which block you're interested in is the first step in deciding which bit of the website to look at to find out what you want to do. Once you know what block you're in, you can identify your faculty. And the faculty is just a word to divide everything up into bits. And in this case, we have those 9 faculties through which most of those blocks fit. If we break down the faculty, we'll come to departments. And departments are smaller units within a particular scholastic area, and that scholastic area might be quite detailed. For example, in this department, in this faculty, we have these departments: the Centre for Human and Applied Physiological Sciences. And this is focused on fundamental questions on the human physiological function and adaptation, including to space. The Centre for Stem Cells and Regenerative Medicine looks how stem cells interact with their environment and differentiate into fully grown organisms. The Department of Medical and Molecular Genetics looks into basic science, questions about function and mechanism and diagnosis of genetic disease. We have a Centre for Molecular Biophysics, where those individuals who have a more cross-disciplinary interest in physics and biology can learn how to understand those questions in biology that require a much more sort of physical or cross-discipline approach to understanding the questions. And then we have St. John's Institute of Dermatology, who are interested in severe skin diseases and using those to answer questions about health. So there's a whole range. This illustrates the range of disciplines within a subset of a subset of the institutional scholarly breakdown. Once you've found a department, then you're right on your way, because you can now look at the research topics within that department and identify a real person who works on something you're interested in. In science and health faculties, you would use the department to find the person, and then you would speak to that person to find out whether the projects are of interest to you and what funding is available and what's going on in that space. For business, arts and humanities, social sciences and law, it's a little bit different in the sense that you still find the department and the supervisor, and then you make contact to find out whether that's really the area that that supervisor is able to work with. We have a research portal at King's, which is searchable, and you can search for keywords, you can search for areas like, you could search for stem cells, or you could search for geography, you could search for plate tectonics. There's all sorts of things you could do to find somebody who works on those keywords. Or if you already know a student, or you've already spoken to somebody before you can put their name in and find out what they do in detail. But actually, many times you don't really know, you haven't really met anyone before because it's a big world and there are a lot of people in it. So why not write an email? You found the department, you found the research area, there's a name associated with a project you like, write to them. Tell them where you're coming from. Tell them that you're interested in writing for funding for a project area, attach your CV, tell them that you're interested in what they're doing, and ask for a meeting over Teams or Zoom, because everyone's really interested in people that are interested in their research. And it's really important that you convey your interest, because you'll get an answer and somebody will strike up a really good conversation. The minimum you will learn is how to do this again if it wasn't the right person in the first place. But prepare a personal statement. Make sure you need to sell yourself. Show that you have evidence of high academic achievement. You've got a degree. Where did you get it? Did you get any prizes? Where were you in your class? Have you ever presented something in public? Have you made a poster? Did you attend a conference? Have you had a summer studentship? Or are you just really interested in a subject? You have an inquiring mind. You have a commitment. What is your commitment? You're willing to leave your home and travel abroad to do a degree. It's really important to show that these are things which really count in your illustration of your commitment to a project. Recent splashes at King's. Well, let's have a look. So Professor Goadsby was awarded the top brain prize from the Lundbeck Foundation for his pioneering work into migraines. So there are lots and lots of high quality research at the Institute of Psychiatry and Psychology and Neuroscience at King's. It's a real flagship of the research that goes on at King's. And this is an example of someone who's been awarded something recently that was really important. Shiva Ishrad published a really good paper on acute immune signatures and their legacies in severe acute respiratory syndrome and COVID-infected cancer patients. So cancer patients are really susceptible to COVID because they have an immune system that's compromised. And so it's really important to collect and share and act quickly on those data during a pandemic. And also South London has a very broad population. So population studies are incredibly powerful in this kind of context. As a postgraduate research student, what are the strengths at King's? Well, artificial intelligence is really important, and in healthcare, we are a major centre for that. We have big data studies where omics and health science, data science work hand in hand to try and understand how to link health records with people's genomes and help to inform and understand why people have different responses to different disorders over the life course. And obviously we've done a lot of COVID research recently in diagnostics, in delivery of healthcare solutions, studying long COVID and so forth. So with those examples, it just remains for me to tell you that you can contact the Centre for Doctoral Studies at any time. We are always welcoming contacts from students overseas. We're really happy to help you to identify areas that you're interested in studying. We're also very interested in helping you to identify funding. So if you have any questions, I'd be very happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Rebecca, for all the information. We don't have question, but I have one question for you, and is what is your recommendation you will give people that are in the process of applying about the time of preparation and specific requirements?
Yes, so if you're interested in applying, then if you contact the Centre for Doctoral Studies, we are right there to help you, support you with any applications. If you want to find a supervisor, if you want to find a discipline, if you want to understand what the process is, what can we do to support any kind of aspect of the application process, or if you need to talk to some existing students who come from overseas to try and understand the hurdles and the process and what happens after you've applied for your visa, what happens after you've applied for your money, how do you sustain funding after your funding's finished, all those sorts of things. We will really strongly suggest you ask questions because no question is too simple.
Perfect. And Juan Rendon, can you show me again about the written intention letter?
Can you show me again about the writing intention? Yes. So you mean on the slides? Mm-hmm. So writing a personal statement, is that what you were interested in? So when you write a personal statement, what you want to do is just be able to illustrate anything that you've done ever, no matter at what level it is, to suggest that you're interested in a particular discipline. If it's film studies, you watched, a million films, or if it's science, that you went on a summer week trip somewhere to pick flowers, or it doesn't matter what it is, it's really important. You would like to know about the PhD program in environmental health or public health, especially focus in air pollution. So public health in at King's is, there's a strong program in statistics, and I can put you in touch with several people who have research in that area. I can put it in the chat in a minute, or I can send it on to you centrally, and then you can pass on that information. I'm just going to keep the chat open so I can see that question. And air pollution is a really big deal, particularly in London. Anything else?
Okay. And do you have some information about master's information?
So the master's programs are under a different area at King's for postgraduate taught, and I can certainly provide you with some links to master's programs and how to apply for those. They're quite a lot more straightforward. It's more like applying as an undergraduate. It's the same sort of application process, so it doesn't require getting in touch with a supervisor. It doesn't require finding out which discipline you want to work in. You can just go straight to the course you like that's listed on the King's website and apply for it, normally through the portal. Can you give us an email for contact if we had a question about our documents? Yeah, so I would always start with the Centre for Doctoral Studies and ask them to direct your question to whether it's admissions or whether it's another department, because if you go through the Centre for Doctoral Studies, they'll give you the right email person to contact. The problem is if you think it's admissions, but it's really visa compliance, then it goes to the wrong place and it goes all over the place. But if we go straight through to the this email address, doctoralstudies@kcl.ac.uk, that mailbox is monitored by somebody who will send your query to the right person. Okay.
Thank you so much. We don't have more questions, so thank you for being, and now we have one.
I would like to know if it's convenient to write more than one. Yes, you can write to more than one. Yes, of course. In fact, you should, because the one you write to first might not want a student, and then it makes you feel rubbish. Where if you write to several and one of them's interested, that's really good, because it's really giving yourself the opportunity. And the important thing to remember is it's your degree. It's not their degree. They've already got a degree. This is your degree. You need to broaden your portfolio to whoever you fancy. And actually listening to a project, you might not fancy it, but you might be glad that you wrote to someone else who you sort of thought you might like the project of, and it turns out to be the one for you. So definitely just write to as many as you want. They never know, and it doesn't matter if they do.
Okay, Rebecca.
Great. I'm going to put these other bits of questions into an email to you, and then you can distribute the answers. Is that okay?
Yes, perfect. So
Great.
thank you so much for being here, for your presentation, and for all the information. And have a nice day.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Nice to see you.
Okay.
Bye. Bye.